Welcome to That Cosmetic Show on Web TV. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Riopel, and tonight's presentation is on treatment of fat. This is actually 5 pounds of fat. Looks like a lot more than 5 pounds to me, but that's actually what this weighs, and when we take fat out of people, or when you lose weight, if you lose 5 pounds worth, that's how much it is. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about fat and fat removal and getting rid of stubborn fat. I'm wondering, do you have any stubborn bulges any place that just won't go away? Maybe you exercise, maybe you eat right, you do all the right things, and yet no matter what you do, that fat is still stuck there. It might be in the tummy, it might be in the love handles, the inner thighs, the outer thighs. Why is it? Why can we just not get rid of that fat sometimes? Well, it's not your fault. We are actually genetically programmed to store fat in certain places. And we may not want that fat, but we're genetically programmed to put it there, so no matter what we do ourselves, it may just not go away. I mean, you don't want to get down to where you're emaciated to get rid of that fat. So that's why all of these procedures for fat removal came along in the first place. They're not so much for weight loss as they are for removing stubborn bulges and stubborn fat in areas where no matter what you do, the fat just won't go away. Well, tonight we're going to talk about a very exciting new technology called Cool Sculpting. Now, in our office, we are experts in fat removal. We've done over 4,000 procedures, liposuction procedures of various types on patients to remove fat. We've also done hundreds and hundreds of non-invasive procedures, such as Zerona and Vasershape. But now there's a new technology that freezes fat. What it does is it actually takes the fat cells, sucks them in to a device, and it creates a freezing of the fat over about a 45-minute period. Turns out that if you freeze fat, it kills the fat cells, and this leads to permanent fat removal. This was originally discovered about 50 years ago when kids were sucking on popsicles and they developed dimples in their cheeks from fat freezing, and those dimples tended to be permanent. So from that technology, the device was developed today, which is the Cool Sculpting device. So this is it right here. So this is Cool Sculpting. And so as I say, the fat is actually sucked in with suction inside this device, and it's frozen once it's in there. So we'll get back to that in a sec. We were actually one of the very first researchers as an office in helping to develop the process of the Cool Sculpting technique. And it started back in about 2008 when the device was first originated. We did approximately 100 patients in our office with the original device, watching how they did with fat removal. And it was quite miraculous from the very start how well the fat was reabsorbed and removed from the body simply by freezing. Now it's about a 3-month process before the fat is totally gone. So the patient will come in, we'll prep the area, apply the device. The patient relaxes doing something for about an hour for each area, and we will treat multiple areas in one given day. So there are a couple things that are very important to know about fat removal with the Cool Sculpting device. First of all, it's very important that it be done by an expert. You see, when the device is placed, one has to draw where the fat is going to be removed. And if it's drawn wrong and the device is placed in the wrong area, it can actually create dents or divots or bumps or lumps, or you might just not get the best possible result. So when you're selecting a doctor to go to for treatment with this, make sure that it's the doctor or the nurse practitioner or the nurse, the RN, one of the registered people who is actually putting the device, designing where to put the device. Make sure that they're doing the drawing. The device can be put on by the technician as far as actually installing it, but the original markings and the lines for where the device goes needs to be done by an expert. And that's the way we do it in our office, and that's what we recommend that all patients look for in looking for a practice to do this device. The other thing is to think about is skin tightening. Now, the Cool Sculpting simply removes the fat. As I say, it freezes the fat cells, and the fat gradually disappears. But what about the skin? It really doesn't do anything for the skin. One thing about liposuction is when you do liposuction, you can liposuction right under the skin, or you can use a laser technology such as Smart Lipo to treat the undersurface of the skin to tighten it. By doing that, as the skin heals and as the fat goes, the skin tissue heals after the fat's removed, after the liposuction, the skin can contract and you can end up with very nice looking skin. Unfortunately, this Coolsculpting device doesn't treat the skin itself, it only treats the fat. So what we recommend is having a secondary procedure, if needed, something like Vasershape or thermage, which is actually a skin tightening technique. And in our practice, we will do this right alongside, often at the same visit that the patient is having the Coolsculpting, if it's indicated. Now, there are some times you won't need that. The skin might be in great shape and is going to bounce back beautifully. But as you know, if you lose weight fast, sometimes you can be left with stretch marks, you can be left with loose-looking skin. So we also recommend considering doing a simultaneous procedure to tighten the skin, such as Vasershape. And as I say, that can actually be done at the same time. So those are really the key factors, we think, in getting a good cosmetic result. Is number one, make sure the lines are drawn properly by an expert in drawing them. In our practice, as I say, we've done many of these procedures, even in the early stages before the device came to market, as a treatment site. We are actually published in studies by Zeltiq, the makers of Coolsculpting, and we're on papers having been published in the medical journals with this device. So we have a lot of experience in it, and you want to make sure that you get someone who has dramatic experience, and also look for a facility or a doctor that can also tighten the skin if needed while that's being done. So just a little bit more on the device itself. So this is the Coolsculpting device, as I say. So it is applied to an area of the body, such as, we'll say, the sides. The fat is then sucked into this device, and the device turns on and treats the fat for, as I say, about 45 to 60 minutes total in that area. It'll then be moved to another area. It sometimes takes a couple of different areas on, for example, one side to get the best results. When we first studied this device, we were just putting it on in one area. We learned with time that if you do two separate directions of fat marked by the physician or the nurse practitioner, you will get the best results. In the abdomen, often it takes 4 different areas, one for each quadrant of the abdomen to get the best results. And as I say, on the sides, it often is 2 areas rather than just one. Once the fat's frozen, it's going to take about 3 months for the fat to go away. So, if it's summertime and you want to go out next week and look good, you're not going to get that fast a result with this device. You need to plan for 3 months out before you really see it. But on the other hand, there's no downtime. So you can go right back to work, you can go right to the beach, no one will really recognize that you had this treatment done. You can get a little numbness or a little funny feeling or a little discomfort sometimes after the treatment that can last a few weeks, but it always goes away. The skin tightening, as I say, can be done along with the procedure. If you want faster results, there is a way to get faster results too. You can actually have the Vasershape, which is a fast fat removal treatment, along with the Coolsculpting treatment, and that will remove fat quickly, whereas the Coolsculpting will remove it later and more permanently. So there are a lot of different options available if the doctor that you see has the right technologies. So that's about all for tonight. We really appreciate you listening in to our web TV show. And if you have any questions, you can reach us at 925-275-9333. We're in San Ramon, California, and Pleasanton, California. And thank you very much for listening tonight.